Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and today was election day. We had some constitutional amendments that we had to vote on, but nothing else in my area. But I thought I would do a red, white, and blue patriotic layout, actually from July 4th, to honor the fact that it was an election day. I was feeling red, white, and blue. So I have a whole bunch of pictures from a bike parade in our neighborhood when my daughter was little. We decorated the bike, we decorated her helmet, we just went all out. It was so fun. So I have a bunch of pictures. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for a layout just yet. I have two blue cardstocks for my base pages. And then I have this fun Creative Memories pre-cut decorative sheet. And it reminds me a little bit of clouds. And so what I was thinking was, what if I could put like a third of it here and then what if I then did the remainder over here? I think that might be cute, and then I think that might work actually. So the question is, where do I want to draw the line? Do I want to draw it here? I'll do it at a crevice. So that might work. And then this won't be quite as big, but it'll be bigger than that side. I think I like that plan. And then we'll figure out a layout and trim my photos and figure some stuff out. I probably need to figure out photo mats. My blade is catching. I think I'm gonna need a new blade here shortly. Not very happy with that. I could blame it on the paper, but I don't think that's it. Well, it might be. There's quite a bit. That's where it was catching. It's the one thing, these blades don't last terribly long. And I'm not even sure you can still get them. All right. I'm gonna just run my scissors over this. All right, so I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna set it down because I don't know if I want to ink things or not. It might look good with some dark blue ink on these. For ephemera, I have, so here are all my pictures. For ephemera, I have some pre-cut stars, but that most of them are white, but I have some scraps of dark blue and a few blue stars, so I'll use those. I have some red, white, and blue buttons. I have some red scraps too, so we'll do red, white, and blue stars because I have some. And I'll get out my star punch and make some more. And I have some red paper here. I can't get a lot more out of that, but a couple more. I probably have some more scraps of that paper. Then I have some stickers, just some leftovers. This is not going to be fireworks, but America the Beautiful might be able to go on there, and a flag. I have this, which is more sort of military. I'm going to use this for the evening, maybe, when I have pictures of the fireworks and that. So this may be more appropriate for that. So I think I'll hold off. Oh, that looks like it came from this. And then I have this. I have these sheets, which I may try and incorporate. And then I have this. I love this banner. I think this would be real cute. So lots of things that I can do on here. And there's even a bicycle for the bicycle parade. So that's definitely going to make it on there. I may just focus on this one and not worry about these two for this page, but we'll see. I'm going to just set them aside. This is definitely the 4th. I've got this 4th of July, so I'll use that one. All right. So I think that's going to be pretty cute. Let me figure out my photos and keep in mind that I really want to use that red, white, and blue banner somewhere. I think it may be real cute going across here. And then 4th of July somewhere here for the title. I am going to trim these up just a little bit because I have a lot of them. This was at the park. I'm going to trim that one. I may not be able to fit all of these on there, but we'll see what we can do. Like this can go to a 4x4. This can go smaller. This is walking with grandma. I love that. And that can get much smaller. This is real cute. This is before we left. There's just so many cute pictures. This is the problem I'm having with this page. Now, the other thing I could do is turn this into a flap, which I may do in order to fit all these photos. I think I'm going to do that. This is going to become a flap on here. And it's going to, I'll do it right to there. So this will be a flap. So I'll have the front and the back. And this will go here. Like I don't need both of these. Oh, she's so cute. All right. So this is sort of front and back view. That's cute. And then I think just one of these probably. And I definitely need journalist space on here. Neither of them are looking up here, so I'm just going to go with this one. And set this one aside. All right. So I've got a couple where she's just sort of looking off. I really like this one with grandma. All right, if I make this a flap with that on there, I think I'll put this on the inside. No. This goes up there. This goes down here. That's, this one should be at the bottom. This one should be at the top. That's the end, so we'll put that there. And I think that we might put these two on the inside. like the idea of matting them all in white, except the ones that appear on here. I will mat those in a dark blue or a red. All right, so I'm going to trim and mat these photos. I'm going to glue this down, and I will come back and show you how I do the flap. So I'm going to go do that work, and I'll come back and we'll start working on ephemera and title. All right, so I've matted everything. I did double mat some of them in this navy blue and white, and then I've done these in the red. So it's a nice balance, and then these two are still just white. I was going to show you, before I do the speed up and voice over, I wanted to show you how I create these flaps. These pages are going to go into Creative Memories albums, and those have the side load page protectors. If this were a top load page protector, you could simply do a flap here. Like all those page protector flaps that you can buy and stuff, you don't really need them. It will mean this part will not be in a page protector, but I don't care. It's okay. You can do it at the top if you have a top load page protector. These are going to be side loads, so I'm going to do it over here. I have scored it at 1/2 inch. You can do more or less, it depends on what you want. I will probably, this is not the thickest cardstock, but by the time I add pictures on it and stuff like that, it will get beefed up a bit. And I am going to use this, I think it's probably 1/2 inch red line tape. For something like this, I really like to use red line tape because it's super strong. It's not going to go anywhere. A couple of warnings though, it is super strong and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to get that on here all the way across. You could use liquid glue as well. That would probably work for this, but I really like the red line tape for this. So I'm going to remove just a little bit of it, and I'm going to get my page lined up. And to do that, I'm going to try and center it here, because I definitely want it centered. And I'm going to put it straight on a line so I can get this as straight as possible. Straight on a line, and I've got, that is not centered. That is about centered. And so this is going to go here to here. All right. The scoring really helps, and it's not perfectly centered, but I don't think that's going to matter. And here and now I have an extra flap for extra pictures. And the pictures that I'm going to put on here, and I will do a few other things on here too to help beef it up. This picture is going to go, I think, down here, because this was sort of at the end of the parade. I may do I want to do? Alrighty, so this video is a little bit longer than my everyday videos because of that tutorial, but I have sped it up from here on out, as I decorate. And here I realized the paper I had pulled, I looked at one side and it was a dark blue. The other side is a shimmer blue. And so I decided to flip all of these and take advantage of the shimmer blue, mostly because I didn't want to waste a shimmer blue paper for the dull side. And so I'm pretty happy with the layout of the photos. I'm trying to leave space for embellishments and a title and a journal spot and things like that. So I'm going to start with some of the stickers. It takes me a little while. I realized I hadn't stuck that down. But I didn't want the corner of that photo showing, so I lowered it a bit. And I'm really just trying to figure out where I want things. Now, that titled 4th of July, I really liked it. The issue was it was going to be on white, and it was white on white, and so it just wasn't going to show up as well as I wanted it to. Now, I really like on these flaps when I add some sort of border strip, top or bottom. If it didn't have the sort of scalloped edge, a border on the loose edge would have been cute too. And this is a bicycle. I am going to use all these things. I'm pulling things that I like. And just trying to figure out where I want some things. So I'm going to go ahead and put the title here, 4th of July. Now I could have written, bike parade or celebrating the 4th or something like that. I'm just keeping it pretty simple. And this whole page, honestly, is pretty simple. I'm not doing a lot of big major clusters. I'm pretty much sticking to the paper stars that I have and stickers. Here I decide, let's make a journal box. I have this fun Creative Memories star punch, and it creates a whole little row of stars. And I think that's pretty cute, except it didn't punch all the way through on a couple of them, so I have to repunch it, and I do manage to line it up and punch it again. I was like, it's not, there's a couple missing there. So I'm making a journal box with a little decoration on it. And I had a little red scrap. So I thought this came out actually really, really cute. I may or may not add lines to it, but it looks like it's a lot of white on white, but I'm going to write on that, and so it's not going to look as bright white as that after I journal about the bike parade. And I managed to use quite a few stickers off here. There was a little tricycle, and her friend was on a tricycle, so I thought that was perfect. And I'm going to build a few little clusters here and there. So you see, I'm just keep checking back with the whole, because I've really got 3 pages here that I'm doing, 2 12 by 12 pages and 2 6 by 12 pages. So it is real estate for 3 pages. So here I start trying to use some of the pre-cut stars that I have, and I decide that the blue ones, I end up not using the blue ones, and I cut some out of the shimmer paper. So I pull out my trusty old Creative Memories star punches. And I'm using these because I already had some punched from a super old project. And so I was trying to use some of those up. There were a lot of white ones. I didn't get them all used. But I decided let's use some of what we have, add to it, use up some scraps. So this is one of the photo mats, because I don't have a lot of this paper, and I didn't want to just but nobody's going to see those holes in the back of that. So that nobody's going to know. So now I'm just sprinkling some stars around. And I do add some more there. And I remember now I've got the inside here and it's looking a little barren. I need to add some stuff here. So while the video is long, the page, considering how big it is, did not take me all that long to do. So I'm just adding some cute little patriotic stickers here and there. And there were also these little tiny stars on this page that I will add in. And then I'm also, instead of enamel dots, I'm going to use buttons, because I feel like that's super patriotic as well. Red and blue buttons. So here's those little stars. I'm just sprinkling them around. And here's where I'm like, I need a white one. And I wanted a tiny white one. And then I just have to rearrange those a bit. And now we'll do some buttons. Now when I do buttons, I like using glue dots for the buttons. They seem to hold really well. I don't think I really lose buttons too much. So, and I use the mini glue dots for this. Sometimes the large glue dots are a little too big to deal with, unless I'm using like a really large flower or something like that. So I think that's about it. Let's take some close-ups. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment if you like the flap and if you think you might want to try it. And come on back to my space to craft.